Claire Laughlin here with your trust tip of the week. This week, we're going to talk about seeking feedback. When you seek feedback from others, you demonstrate humility. You communicate that you're open to learning and growing and that you don't already know it all, right? Humility is so essential in healthy relationships because it's based on the idea that we're equal, right? That I matter and you matter and our opinions both matter and neither one of us is always right. Humility puts people at ease and it sends the message that you value their opinion, and it helps you get a better perspective on yourself and minimize those blind spots that we all have. Think about it this way. Think about the opposite, like a person who doesn't demonstrate humility or one who comes to the relationship with this sort of air of superiority, like, let me tell you how it's done, right? It can be very challenging to form strong relationships with people who show up with low humility. Okay, so let's get back to asking for feedback. That's the practice for this week. How do we seek and get good feedback? Those are sort of two different things, right? But they're related. First, I want you to make it easy for a person to share their opinion with you. You need to be specific in your request. Instead of just saying like, hey, can you give me some feedback? Which is what a lot of people do. Try asking for something very specific like this. Say something like, hey, I'm really wanting to improve my public speaking. I'm wondering if you could give me your opinion after my presentation on Thursday. I'd love to hear about one thing you think I did well in the presentation and one way you think I could improve my delivery or my impact. Okay, so that's very specific. This kind of a specific lead-in lets the other person know that you really do want to improve, you're open to hearing what they have to say, and exactly how they can be helpful. It takes some of the mystery away. Because here's the thing, giving feedback isn't that easy either. So don't expect that it's just going to happen on the spot necessarily. You might have to ask more than once, and you might have to try on some different tactics. A very good friend of mine asked me and several other people for feedback recently, and her experience was very interesting. She got very little feedback. People seemed to resist giving it to her even when she asked. In some cases, they just simply didn't even return her email, and many didn't even acknowledge her request. I generally attribute this to the fact that people want to be thoughtful in their responses, and because most of us are moving fast, and when we see an email request like that, we think, oh, I'll get back to that later, right? But then we don't. I mean, even I had a hard time providing her with good feedback, and I knew she was sincere in her request. I knew that she truly wanted the feedback, but I had these thoughts like, well, who am I to give her feedback on how to improve? You know, she's doing great. So be patient when you ask and be specific. And you might have to ask many times, and that's okay too. Also, when you get feedback, make sure you thank the person for whatever they have to offer. Even if in your head you sort of disagree with what they have to say, do not get defensive when they tell you how you can improve. This is yet another chance to demonstrate your humility. So, once again, your tip for the week, go seek some feedback. Think about an area where you'd like to improve a little bit. Find a trusted friend and make a specific request and thank them for sharing. This is a great way to keep getting better, okay? So, now I have a request for you. Can you give me some feedback? I'm interested in providing some easy and inspirational tips for how you can build trust at work. How am I doing with that? Could you tell me one thing that's working for you with these trust tip videos and one way I can get better? I would really love to hear it. Leave me a comment below if you would. I value your opinion very, very much. Okay, and meanwhile, remember that creating a happy, high energy workplace only happens with a foundation of trust and strong relationships that honor the needs of all. So if you want more information about how to build a high trust workplace, visit me at ClaireLaughlinOnline.com. Now, go be a trust builder.